Hey, welcome back to the Wrestle Show. I just figured I'd give you a quick rundown of the people that left SmackDown and came to Raw on Monday night's edition of Raw and the WWE Roster Shake. First off, as announced on WWE.com before Raw even took place, Apollo Crews was moved from SmackDown to Raw, and he was the first person I guess, to enter the shakeup, as it were. He was interviewed, as he arrived to the arena, and he was all excited about being part of Raw and working with Kurt Angle. So I thought that was really cool for him. Hopefully he gets a good push, and hopefully it turns out to be a really good thing for him on Raw. And then, of course, you had The Miz and Maurice who showed up. They left SmackDown. They're now Raw Superstars. Of course, they showed up with their little comic routine or parody routine of John Cena and Nikki Bella. Personally, The Miz ruins almost any show for me that he's on. I don't enjoy watching him. He's boring, and I just don't like him. He could even be a face, and I wouldn't give two flips about it. He just bores me to tears. And his supposed wife Maurice, she's no better. But hey, they're on Raw now. Maybe it'll be good for them. Maybe they'll do something different. I don't know. But this whole thing they've been doing with Miz for the last year or so, it's just really been driving me nuts. I can't stand to see him on TV. I wish he wasn't on TV. He doesn't seem to be that good in the ring half the time. It's on the mic. He just makes me want to pull my hair out or plug my ears one. But that led to a fun part of the night for me, because Dean Ambrose came out, acting like he thought they were John Cena and Nikki Bella. And once the Miz pointed out that they weren't, Dean Ambrose, who is now a Raw superstar, um, gave the Miz a dirty deeds in the ring, and that was pretty much the end of the segment for him. So Dean Ambrose is also now on Raw from SmackDown, which is going to be sad to see him leave SmackDown. I enjoyed watching him. He was a break from some of the other wrestlers that just they were just a little too much for me to watch. Sometimes I just didn't like watching them, or didn't like how they were being pushed or not pushed, as it were. Like Apollo Crews's case on SmackDown, it's not like he was getting much of much recognition or much of a push at all. And so you didn't see him a whole lot doing, or not didn't see him doing a whole hell of a lot. That said, Dean Ambrose has left SmackDown. He'll be on Raw, so it should be fun to see the Ambrose Asylum and the lunatic as he is on Raw as opposed to SmackDown. Should bring some life to the show, and I'm sure the fans will enjoy it. I know I'll actually want to watch Raw for a change. And that leads me to the next person that came from SmackDown to Raw, Kurt Hawkins. He seems to be just kind of a jobber over on SmackDown. I mean, how many seconds was it that it took him to get beat in one of his first debut matches? Back in the WWE after returning after being gone for a few years. And then of course there was Callisto. Callisto went from SmackDown to Raw, who I was hoping when this whole shakeup went down that maybe they'd put Sin Cara and him back together. But spoiler alert for the next video, they're not going to do that. It's clear that I'm guessing that tag team is just not going to happen anymore. And I guess there's got to be a reason why WWE wouldn't put something like that the fans really enjoyed. Put a tag team like that together that really enjoyed it. But you'll see in the next video that doesn't happen. And of course, you had Rhino and Heath Slater. They were former SmackDown Tag Champions over on the SmackDown brand. They were doing really good over there for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like they lost the titles and they just disappeared. It seemed like for a long time. I don't know if they'll be back into the tag team title hunt or if they'll go sing their singles, go to a singles career, or whatever. But it'd be cool to see them as a tag team and maybe actually hold the Raw tag team titles. That'd be kind of hilarious and kind of enjoyable to watch. Heath Slater's got to feed his million kids. Come on, he's got kids. More kids. Every time he turns around, it's more kids. But he's got kids. I'm sure he's up to 1 million now, right? And he's got to pay for his new double wide. I mean, come on. Um, and that takes me to my last few people that were transferred from SmackDown to Raw. You had Mickey James. She came from SmackDown to Raw, and I guess to continue any kind of connection between Mickie James and Alexa Bliss is now part of the Raw brand as well. Sorry, I was checking my echo. Um, that said, I think it'll be great for Alexa Bliss and the fans. Alexa Bliss is probably one of my 3 favorite women in the WWE currently. Between her, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. It's always fun to see Alexa Bliss when she's on TV, and I enjoy watching her in the ring. She's pretty good at what she does. She's kind of pretty too, I suppose. Um, that said, those two are now on the Raw brand, and I think it's really good for the show. Mickie James is whatever. She can go wherever she wants. I don't know why they would have put her on SmackDown with the La Luchador mess just to send her to Raw a few months later. But hey, hopefully it works out for her. Hopefully, it brings new life into the Raw Women's division. And hopefully we'll see some, good women sent to SmackDown to maybe, breathe some fresh breath, fresh air into the SmackDown Women's division. We'll see that in the next video. Announcer David Otunga as well. This was announced after Raw went off the air that David Otunga and Byron Saxton would switch places, sending David Otunga to Raw and Byron Saxton on SmackDown. Byron Saxton was already on SmackDown when it aired on Tuesday. And they'll take me to the last person on my list of people that transferred from SmackDown to Raw, which is kind of interesting because Bray Wyatt is now a Raw superstar. And of course, we all know that he has a match scheduled for, I guess it's supposed to be Payback with his House of Horrors match. And of course, I find it interesting because they moved Bray Wyatt from SmackDown to Raw, even though he still had a match with the WWE Championship and Randy Orton. Now, it's obvious that they're not going to send the WWE SmackDown champion, the SmackDown Championship, WWE Championship, over to Raw when Raw already has the Raw Universal title. So it's obvious who's going to win that match. It's going to be Randy Orton. So it's kind of already, the match doesn't even make sense. It's this big gimmick match, House of Horrors or whatever they want to call it. Yet they've already told you the winner. Unless something crazy's in the works, and that's definitely not up WWE's alley anymore, doing anything outside the box. They don't let wrestlers make a mistake, much less something outside the box like, a person, like Raw stealing the SmackDown title, for crying out loud. But I think Bray Wyatt in the end, in the long run, will be good for for Raw. I think it'll be, he got a little stale over on SmackDown. I love the storyline between him and Randy Orton, but besides that, really, there wasn't much else going on prior to that, and didn't look like there was much left for him to do after losing the title to Randy Orton, except beat Randy Orton for the title, which apparently is not going to happen. But that said, it'll be good for the fans. I enjoy seeing him on Raw. One reason I like to watch SmackDown every week was to watch Bray Wyatt, and now I have a reason to actually tune in and watch Raw. Well, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like the content. I would love to be able to start, getting more views, which would be really entertaining it would be entertaining for me, because then I'd have a reason to keep putting these videos out. So please like and subscribe. Let your friends know about the show, and don't forget there'll be a double upload later on today. I'll release the list of people who transferred from Raw to the SmackDown brand on Last Down SmackDown, including 2 people that there's a stipulation on who will be on the SmackDown show. It all has to do with a match at Payback. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.